So many right now are talking about the freedom of being their own boss, but few people really think about or talk about the discipline that being your own boss demands. This episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast, I'm sharing with you what nobody told me about becoming my own boss. The differences between self employed, employed, and being an entrepreneur. And I'm going to share with you some lessons that came from building something that aligns. Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast. And this is where introverted leaders and quiet achievers learn to amplify their presence, profit from your purpose, and lead without compromising your peace. If you've ever thought about leaving your job or starting something part time or wondering if you're ready yet, this episode is the one for you to tune into and lean into and take notes. We're going to talk about consistency and freedom. We're going to talk about stability and systems, why you need them more than you need speed. We're going to talk about how training, tools, and coaching can take all this chaos and all these things floating around in the air and help you pull that into clarity, and why you don't necessarily need to leap. Make this big leap. Because sometimes real freedom isn't fast, it's layered. Let's jump in, shall we? Welcome to the Quiet Impact Podcast, where we nurture the journey of introverts who desire to achieve greater levels of influence, income, and impact. The go-to podcast for introvert achievers just like you, seeking purpose-driven growth. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. We're not shy, we're not timid, we're not needing to be fixed. We're an introvert, and that is our superpower. Introverted AFF. Absolutely fabulous and feisty. Welcome back to the Quiet Impact Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Oden. And I keep hearing it, and I heard it before I stepped fully into entrepreneurship. And it was, I want to be my own boss. Let me share some things with you. Many want to be their own boss until they realize it's an ultimate test of courage, consistency, and self-belief. Repeat. But it sounds good on paper, right? Freedom, flexibility, doing what I love. Sounds so good. Sounds so good. So I have been self-employed, made the leap. Some of you were on that journey with me. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it. I love waking up knowing that I get to choose what to do, what I love, the clients I serve. I love that I get the pace that fits my rhythm. I love that I get to build my day around deep work instead of endless meetings. I love that when inspiration hits, I can follow it and I don't have to ask permission. I don't have to feel like I'm putting myself in the box. And I think most of all, I love that my success is tied to alignment, not approval. Like success for me is I am in alignment with what I know that I'm called to do. The flexibility, oh yeah, it's a gift. But the peace, that is a real win. There was a lot of inner turmoil with being put in a box and not being able to express myself creatively. But the peace doesn't come from having less to do because I am platter is full, okay? It comes from doing that thing where I know I'm doing what matters. But baby, let's get real right here. Hmm. It's not for the faint of heart. Everybody loves the idea until you meet the discipline. I can't sleep the day away. I sleep the day away, I make no money. Being your own boss means you can't hide behind company rules. You can't say, well, they made that decision. You can't wait for permission. You can't wait for approval. You're the structure, you're the strategy, and you're the system. And that means you have to learn how to lead yourself. Some days I feel unstoppable. Like today, got on my boss jacket. And then there's also days when I question everything. And a little side note here, that's why you want to make sure you stay plugged into a good coach because coaching, my coach really helped me through this journey for those days when I question what? But let's talk about something a lot of people skip over. There's a little bit of a distinction though. Let's talk about self-employed and entrepreneur. Not employee, but the two difference between the two. When you're self-employed, you basically build a job for yourself. And you start out, you transition from being an employee to being self-employed. Like you built this job for you. Now we're moving into being an entrepreneur and you want to build a system that works even when you step away. And that's a little subtle but powerful shift. One gives you freedom. Okay, I'm self-employed. I have freedom in my day. The other gives you scalability. That's the entrepreneur. And both of them will test every ounce of your emotional endurance. They will. I promise they will. If you're thinking about taking the leap, here's my advice. Just advice. Okay. Consult your favorite coach. Schedule a session with me. Pray on it. Here's my advice from the other side of it. Number one, don't quit your income producing job until your business is ready. 2 years before I was able to make the transition, I had to think about my position not as this prison, but it's an investor. It was a stream of income. And that subtle shift, because you got to show up. Your mind is a powerful thing, but it infiltrates everything. What do I mean by that? I mean, when I was going to work, I was angry and why am I doing this? And I feel like I'm being smushed in a box and I'm not being heard and all of that. It was showing up in my business because of those same emotions. But the shift happened when I started saying, for me, this is a stream of income. The goal is to depend less on the stream of income, to leverage it like an investor. Number two, give yourself the gift of stability while you build your dream. It's about protecting your peace. It's not about playing it safe. Listen, there is no medal of honor for saying, I quit my job and now you're having a struggle and it sucks. There's no medal in that. So one, don't quit until you're ready, meaning I'll talk more about mindset in a little bit, but until you're ready, like your business is ready, your investor, you've invested. Number two, give yourself the stability while you build your dream. And I know people who have amazing affiliate income opportunities that they're running and they work full time. And here's the big one. Have enough reserves to cover your responsibility for at least a year. More if you can, right? This will give you that cushion that you need to be inspired and you won't come off as desperate when you're making offers. Cuz it shows up when you make offers and you're desperate. If you need the sale, it runs from you. If you need the money, it tends to run from you. But make sure you have enough reserves to cover your responsibilities for at least a year. I say more. Because even in that, when you first make that leap, you're going to have a month or two where you're like, what the heck is going on? Especially if you were like me and you worked in a position for like over 30 years and you're in that routine. It's a stepping away. It's a grieving period. It's a readjustment. And you have to have the space to do that. Because when you're stressed about survival, it's hard to build something that's sustainable. And here's something I wished, and I still wish more people would talk about, is you don't have to make this big leap to leave. You can start part-time. And I highly recommend that for several reasons. I'm going to share some of those with you, but for several reasons. One way to do that is to start as an affiliate, offer products that someone else has created, practice skills that you're learning. The company pays you when you refer someone that purchases, and you can test your ideas while you're earning your steady income still. You can let your current job be kind of a sponsor per se for your future business. Like your current job is sponsoring you. It's an investor for you. And you can use the season to learn how business works. You can learn marketing, you can learn systems, you learn time management, because a lot of times you're working in pockets of your day. And you learn about your mindset. You learn where there's gaps. You learn where there's limiting beliefs. You learn that mindset that it takes to be consistent. Can I go from my day job, spend 2 hours or whatever it is you have available, work the business? You're full time in the business at that point is 2 hours. For someone like me, the biggest thing that I found was I was able to expand my level of knowledge of marketing and systems and business. And one side benefit of not like just leaping is I became better on my job because I had this whole different perspective. I could understand things differently. That's a little side note for you. Your passion without preparation, money. If you jump out there and you just got passion before preparation, it's going to be expensive because you do need training, you do need tools, you do need coaching. Those aren't luxury things. Like, they're leverage. And one of the things I look for when I work with clients is, do they value coaching? Do they value tools? Do they understand how tools and training can help them? And when you jump out there without that mindset regimen, you're thinking, well, everybody wants money. Well, yes, all the things take some level of investment. I know for me, my steady income gave me the opportunity to invest in coaching, tools, trainings, and systems that when I stepped out on my own, I knew that some of those things I wouldn't have had the financial resources to invest in, but because I invested in them while I had that steady income, it was less of a financial outpour when I stepped out because I had come through my learning curve. And you can build skills before you have the pressure. You can create this ground zero that you're not freaking out. You can create a peace instead of a panic because you already have gone through some of the learning curve while you've had that solid investor. Flipping the script, and still there are lessons you can only learn once you're in it. Once you've made the leap, once you've made decisions. What do you do when a client doesn't pay on time? You have to figure it out. What do you do when you go through all the work and the launch flops? It happens. What do you do when there's silence on your social posts is louder than the applause that you thought you would get because you created this amazing post and you just knew you followed all the things that the experts told you to do and it's supposed to go viral and it doesn't? I mean, these are the moments where most people want to quit when it's not easy. But these are the moments that will shape your character and your confidence, create that story, and it becomes the thing that draws people to you. If you're an introvert like me, this journey it hits different. Your our nervous system is our operating system. If it's constantly in survival mode, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna burn out before the business breaks even. You need a coach. You need a community. because that will help bring you back. I'm not about hustle. I maybe I should be, but I'm not about hustle. Now, I am about consistent actions that drive momentum that take me to the goal, but I'm not about hustle. I'm about harmony. Your energy is your most valuable currency. When I was able to walk in my harmony, walk in my alignment, not try to be that person that I wasn't, that's when things started to go on this steady uptick. So when it comes to your energy, take care of it, protect it, spend it wisely. Now, here's some quiet perks, things that nobody told me when I started. Peace of mind hits different when you're on your own schedule. That's one. Two, your creativity expands when you're not performing for somebody else's approval. There's things that I stepped out and was able to do from a creativity standpoint that there was nobody to tell me I couldn't. So I automatically believed that I could. You learn who you are when no one is clapping yet. You learn how to clap for yourself. And you learn what you're made of. You learn who you are. And resilience, oh yeah, that becomes that quiet superpower. Speaking to my introvert entrepreneurs and my ones that are doing that dance, right? That dance of being your current position is also one where it's an investor into your future. It's one of your streams of income. The path doesn't have to be louder. It doesn't have to be anything that others say it is because it's your journey. But we do want it to be aligned. Some things you want to do as you stepped out into that entrepreneur journey. Look at your offers. Are they simple? Where can you reduce risk? Build systems that honor how you're wired. And it's going to take, I've had to do it. I've been in some communities where it wasn't the right place for me. I've been in some environments and groups weren't the right place for me. Surround yourself with people who get it, who get you. You don't need a crowd, you need a crew. Because it's not built in isolation, but it's also not built in chaos. When you're making your freedom transition, it isn't built on quitting fast. Freedom is built on staying long enough to master the season that you're in. Most people want the crown. Few want the quiet grind that earns it. Entrepreneurship, it's the ultimate mirror. It shows you who you are and who you becoming on a daily basis. I face fears, habits, patterns. I have to decide, do I shrink here or do I rise? You will too. And it's not for the faint of heart. I'm not saying that to discourage. I'm saying I want you to have a realistic look. But if you give yourself permission to build slowly, strategically, and soulfully, it will work for you. And give yourself grace because the journey isn't about proving. It's not about proving, it's about becoming. That is the real journey. I hope that in me sharing this view of self-employed, employed entrepreneur, that I've been able to give you at least one nugget or one thing to sit with. You might want to come back and listen to this one. And if you are in that place of wanting to work it out, I share more topics like this and also provide tools and coaching to help you walk through your journey, whatever your journey is, in my private community, the Introvert Achievers Network. If you listen to this and you thought, oh my gosh, my friend needs to hear this, they're working their job and they're building their business, send it to them, share it with them. It could be that one thing that they need to hear to remind them that they're okay where they are, that they're in this process, they're in this journey, they're where they're supposed to be. They're moving their passion down the road of what it takes to be successful, and that they don't have to do it fast and it can still be successful. You can be the one that helps to inspire them today. Till next time, take care. That's it for this episode of the Quiet Impact Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let me know any insights that you had from this episode. I would love to hear your takeaways. Remember to head to my website, grab a copy of the Success Pillars for Quiet Achievers. It's a resource I created for you. And join us next week. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing. See you next time.